So if I am looking to hire a web development agency, maybe I need a new website, what are some questions that you would be asking them, trying to pre-vet the business?
Yeah, so the very first question I'd want to ask a web development agency is, I'd be giving them my end goal, and then I'd want them to come back with a strategy. So what I mean by that is that there's different CMS systems. There's WordPress, let's say, like with WooCommerce, there's Shopify, there's Magento, there's Laravel, there's people that do bespoke and custom kind of web development. I'm not a massive fan of anyone doing anything custom, because the minute something goes wrong, you've got a single point of failure where normally another developer says, I don't have a clue what he's created here and I don't know the code and stuff like that, where if it's WooCommerce with WordPress, you can almost go to any WordPress developer that knows the e-commerce arm to it to be able to fix things. It's a lot easier and it's a lot faster to be able to just get a plugin that can do a lot of things. It's a large inventory of plugins that can do a lot of different jobs as opposed to keep building new. So I'd want to know, once I've given the end goal, their strategy of how they're going to build it. And like I said, some of them that are going to say custom, I might just straight away be saying no. The ones that are saying why they think Laravel might be better than Magento, or if it is just standard WordPress, what plugins are going to be used and stuff like that. I'd want the strategy put in place of what they're thinking they would do prior to doing any sort of design or development work for me. So that's my first question to a web development agency is, show me a strategy of what you're thinking you'd do for this.
Yeah, definitely. I think the next question that I would be asking is like asking for case studies. So, for example, you touched on that there's multiple CMS systems, there's WordPress, there's Shopify, there's Magento. What I would be wanting to know is, let's say if I'm a big fashion brand and I want a new Shopify store, I want to see other work that they've done in the past. I want to see all the functionality that they've got. And in some cases, you might even need a custom CMS being built. Let's say, for example, you're selling something really bespoke, like maybe you're selling customized T-shirts or customized mugs and stuff like that. And in that case, you might need a custom CMS. But in a lot of cases, straight out of the box, solutions would probably be my go-to as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think you touched upon there with regards to case studies. I think there's two big parts that I would personally be looking at from the case studies. If they're giving the website their away, I'll be looking at it with regards to site speed, web core like vitals and stuff like that. Just making certain that they understand the importance from an SEO standpoint, that it loads fast. Yeah. Because it is important. And what I'd want to be wanting to do as well is, if they are a web development company, I want to make certain that they've either in-house or they're very closely working with a web design agency, and they're also working and understand the importance of technical SEO. Yeah. So in an ideal world, I think web design, web development and technical SEO should form underneath the same business. Mm-hmm. So I'd be wanting to make certain from a case study point of view that those three things are tied together and they completely understand the importance of technical SEO and speed. And then after that, then I'd be looking at, once I've got the strategy and I've seen the case studies, the price, how much are you? Are you good value? Can I compare this price and what they're both going to do? And then, the big one for me is price.
Yeah, I think one thing that I would be looking at when it comes to the pricing point of view, because we've had countless amount of websites over the years, but in some cases you might get 2 or 3 quotes back by this stage, and you might say, well, why is this one 15,000 but this one's 2.5? And what you might realize is the 15,000 one also comes with CRO. So CRO is really important for anybody that doesn't understand it. It's conversion rate optimization, and basically, I mean, it's all fine and well having a brand new website being built and it's really fast and it's technically built out from a technical SEO point of view very well. But you also want to be able to convert that traffic. So every website has got an end goal, whether it's a local business, you might want to get more leads, whether you're an e-commerce store, you want to get more actual sales. So you want to make certain that the contact form, for example, maybe it's a 2-step contact form, and you, like people that are in CRO and they understand conversion rates and stuff, they'll know that a two-step form is actually higher converting. For example, you might have a multi-step checkout form, you might have upsells on your checkout, you might have downsells, you might have cross-sells. So in that case, that £15,000 quote, I might say, well, actually, do you know what? I'm getting a lot of value there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not always the cheapest one. It's what you think is best value. So sometimes the most expensive quote is the best value. So yeah, for sure. And like you said, there's a few bits on there that you touched upon with regards to like CRO. And it is so important. Like getting a good web developer, web designer, and like you said, if you can tap that in with technical SEO and CRO as well, you're onto a winner. So yeah, I'd definitely want to spend more. When I say price, like I said, it's definitely not the cheapest price wins. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I normally get rid of the one that's the cheapest. Yeah. I'm looking at the one that's middle of the road and top of the road and saying, all right, what's the difference here? Yeah. The next one I'll be asking the question of to a website development company is there any are you going to be hosting the site? Are you happy to host the site? Mm-hmm. Is there ongoing costs after it that might be needed for them to maintain the site and stuff like that? Sometimes it is good as long as they're not charging you an arm and a leg for the web development company to also be hosting the site. There is times where some web development companies, they charge you not very much for the website and then they're absolutely charging you a fortune on the hosting. So you need to be very careful. And then it's like certain things we do like CDMs and stuff like that. Are they going to set up Cloudflare? Is there going to be caching and stuff like that? If there's a lot of things that's going on, sometimes it is better left with the web development company to have everything encompassing with the business. Because what starts to happen is you get someone who starts doing the hosting and the CDMs and Cloudflare and everything else that might come with it. And they start saying, oh, the code's not very good. And the people who's built it then start saying, oh, it's to do with the hosting. And there's always finger pointing. Yeah. So sometimes I like having my web development agency that I'm working with. And hopefully I'm building a long-term relationship with them. I don't mind them hosting and sorting the CDMs out. So my question would be, do you do those services as well?
Yeah, definitely. And then I think the next question I would be asking them is there any aftercare? Because websites do get hacked. Things can go wrong, especially if you're migrating from one host to another. So if anything was to go wrong, would they actually be like helping you along the way, or is it kind of just like, here's your website, go and do whatever you need to do? Another question I would be asking, this is really important, especially if like you're doing any PPC or SEO, is do you guys do the actual website migration? Do you align, like if you guys are big into SEO and stuff, one thing that's super important, especially if you've been getting a lot of organic traffic, is making certain that your URLs align with your old URLs. Now, in some cases, if you're using different tech, let's say you're going from WordPress to Shopify or Shopify to WordPress, you might not be able to actually align all the URLs. So you might end up, if you don't know what you're doing, you might end up losing a lot of organic SEO traffic. So that's another question I would be asking, like, hey, what's happening with the site migration?
Yeah, and I think that comes down to as well with regards to testimonials and case studies, checking how many migrations that they have done. Mm-hmm. If it's just new sites that they're building and they look nice and they convert, you're going, okay, great. But this kind of goes on like in line with what we're saying about technical SEO. A migration needs a technical SEO to look at it, because if the URL structure is going to change and you're resetting the quality score of each URL, you need to be making certain that the 301s are all lining up and being done correctly. So a big one after that would be, what you touched on before would be, do I get, when you spoke about aftercare, a question I'll be asking a web development company is, do I get some sort of account manager? So if I am doing a migration, I can start to see in Screaming Frog or Sitebulb, or I've got my server logs that are running and I've connected them to Jet Octopus. Is Googlebot wasting crawl budget in certain places? And then if it is, I want to throw that straight back to my web development company saying, this needs sorting, look at this. And I'll almost, to start with after a migration, I want to be running it every 72 hours. Literally every 72 hours, I'm running a fresh audit. Look, I've just seen another 150 errors. Fix these. I've just seen 150 errors. Fix these. Yeah. Until there's zero, I want 0 errors on the site. I want it loading fast and I want 0 errors. That's just building good foundations for your site. SEO is difficult enough. And if you've not got a good quality site in the first place, you're just building a house on quicksand. Yeah. You have to get things right. And I'm one of them that I'm a stickler for having, I just want 0 errors. So that's be another question that we're asking, do I get an account manager?
Yeah, definitely. I think the last question, this might not apply to everybody, but this will probably apply to the bigger websites, is if obviously they are doing your hosting and stuff, do they have any form of like DDoS protection or like a load balancer in place?
Yeah.
So again, if you're a smaller business, you might not need to worry about this, but some of the bigger e-commerce stores or some of the bigger SaaS guys, you might need to worry about this a little bit more, because obviously you've got events like Black Friday, right? So if, say, for example, they are going to be doing your hosting, what infrastructure do they have in place to say, right, okay, when Black Friday does hit, you're going to be estimating, let's say, 60,000 visits in that one day or in that, like, let's say, weekend or whatever. We have these options available. We've got this load balancer in place. We've got this Cloudflare option in place, and combining up both of those, we feel like this is an optimal solution for you.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. And on from that, right, with regards to the security of it from DDoS attacks and stuff like that, you also want to be making certain, like, not just on, let's say, Black Friday, but any sort of DDoS attack, you've got the protection. You've got backups as well. So if something does get hacked, someone can quickly see and back it up from 48 hours ago or 24 hours ago. You might have Word Fence or something like that, which is like a security plugin put in place to make certain that there's no one adding new users to the site. There might be certain exploits on, like Elementor gets hacked quite a lot. There might be certain plugins that are out of date. So is the web development company, if they're doing the hosting, are they going to be updating the plugins all the time? Because there's times you can go and update 3 or 4 plugins and next minute the whole site's broke. Yeah. And you need then the web developer to come back and fix the problem. Because I'm like, well, all I did was press update on a plugin. So are they going to update the plugin and stuff like that? And if you have got multiple sites, have you set up multi-site? Is there like main WP, which might be that you can run and update multiple plugins in one dashboard? Yeah. Some people are running lots and lots of different types of sites. With regards to the hosting, like, is it going to be dedicated hosting? Is it shared hosting? Okay, if it's shared hosting, what shared hosting are you going with? Because I don't want to be hosted with a load of PBMs. Because next minute that IP might be taken down because it looks bad, because it's with loads of PBM. So cheap hosting actually can bring your site down and almost put you in a penalty because you're in a bad, like, hosting neighborhood, which can be bad as well. So there's lots of questions you can ask the web development company. It's just about making certain you understand what you're getting into. And at times after this, sometimes these businesses, they need, I wouldn't say a CMO, but they need a fractional CTO. Yeah. They need someone who understands what they're talking about and can talk the lingo. I definitely cannot turn around and sit there and say I'm an expert on server logs, Screaming Frog, Sitebulb, understanding everything to do with the coding. Is it clean code? How fast is it loading? You need someone in place who's a fractional CTO that understands it, lives and breathes it every single day, and they are like your go-to technical person. So they can then speak to the web development company and ask those questions and understand what the answers are that's coming back to say, yes, this web development company is the right person for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that you obviously did mention, if you guys are going through potentially a new website and you're worried that you might lose some organic SEO traffic and stuff like that, hiring a fractional CTO, even if it's for a couple months, that can definitely help you, and especially trying to keep your rankings as well. If you guys do want any help with that, make certain to check the link down below or head over to fatrank.com, fill in the form, and one of the team members will get back to you.